It was called The Biggest Lie in Gaming History. A multi-million dollar scam. But what if it wasn't a lie, but a promise? A promise so impossibly ambitious, it was doomed to break. No Man's Sky was not the first, but it was one of the first to promise procedural generation on a truly cosmic scale. Back then, most of us had no real experience with it. All we had were promises from one man, and they sounded unbelievable. Promises of a game with infinite opportunities and endless worlds to explore. And the face of this promise was Sean Murray. He wasn't a slick marketing executive in a suit. He was a soft spoken, bearded coder from a tiny indie studio. He spoke like a developer, not a salesman. And that raw, unfiltered passion felt real to a lot of people. It felt genuine. With Sean at the head of the campaign, it quickly became one of the most hyped games of the year. People were excited to meet up with friends and to explore this vast universe he promised. The initial reveal held so much potential. Infinite universes, a multiplayer experience, endless things to explore. It was an insane vision from a tiny team called Hello Games. But that's where the dream shattered. Friends spent hours trying to get to the exact same spot on the exact same planet just to see each other. Then, only to find nothing. The so-called multiplayer wasn't hard to find. It was a ghost. It didn't exist. And that single discovery lit a fuse that detonated the entire gaming industry. It wasn't a missing feature anymore. It was a lie. And it was the easiest lie in the world to prove. So this sparked chaos. Why had Sean lied? Why about something so easily identifiable? That wasn't even the only thing. He also promised ringed planets, complex factions, large-scale space battles, sandworms, planetary diversity, and all of that was gone. The infinite universe suddenly felt incredibly small. Planets quickly felt copy-pasted, killing the sense of discovery that we all had. The factions in the game were simple, and the content for each one was shallow. Space battles were tiny skirmishes. The gameplay loop was just a grind. Land on a planet, mine the resources, scan what's there, craft more fuel, and repeat. Players felt like there was nothing worth playing for. And if you could play, it was a mess. Crashes, missing audio, textures popping in. Within hours, the game's reviews cratered to mostly negative on Steam. Players demanded refunds. The No Man's Lie spread across the internet like a virus. And to top it all off, Sean and the team went quiet. The silence was so deafening that Steam, Sony, and even retail stores began accepting refunds regardless of time played. No Man's Sky had collapsed. If you were still watching at this point, thank you. Let me know in the comments what disappointed you the most at launch of No Man's Sky, and if you didn't refund the game, was it worth your money? But then, a flicker of life. In November 2016, Hello Games made the first step towards redeeming themselves. They released the Foundation update, which brought in content they had promised from the start. Base building was finally introduced. Massive freighters became true homes away from home, carrying your base and vehicles just a click away. New game modes were added. The default mode was rebranded as normal. In-game creative for the builders out there, and survival for those who wanted a true challenge. It wasn't perfect, but for the players who stuck around, it was a start. It added more life to the game, more depth to explore, and more things to do. And they just kept working. Update after update for years, Hello Games put their heads down and coded away. While the internet screamed, they were fixing the game. No, they were finishing the game, piece by painful piece. It was a vision so broad it took them nearly a decade to deliver on their original promise. And somewhere along the way, the narrative shifted. The memes died down, the hate faded, and people started talking about No Man's Sky differently. It wasn't No Man's Lie anymore, it was gaming's greatest comeback story. And that brings us to today. Update after update has reimagined what this game can be. Now you can not only fly your favorite spaceship, you can command an entire fleet of frigates. You can build bases that would rival sci-fi movie sets. You can create just about anything that your mind can imagine. The community is vibrant, sharing everything they've created. They've built entire civilizations for players to work together, build, and explore. They've fleshed out everything about the game, iteration after iteration. I've come back to this game dozens of times over the years, and I always find myself starting over with nothing because I want that feeling of discovery again. Every time you start a new game, you start an entirely new experience. There's enough diversity now that you will find something new or learn a new thing every time you come back. And at the end of the day, if a game keeps you coming back for more, then I think they succeeded. So what's the real lesson here? Listen to your community is easy to say, but what Hello Games did was harder. They took the hit, they absorbed the hate, they accepted their failure, went silent, and let their work do the talking. The lesson isn't just to listen, it's to have the humility and the grit to build your way back from rock bottom. Their passion has carried the game to a glory it has today, peaking at new all-time player counts almost 10 years after its release. So, what's the future? Their new game, Light No Fire, is using much of the same tech to create a game even more ambitious than No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is no longer a story about a lie. It's a story about a promise that was eventually kept no matter the cost. Hello Games doesn't need redemption anymore. They built it themselves. And now, with Light No Fire, they're making another impossible promise. An entirely procedural fantasy planet. The difference is, this time, we believe them. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little trip down No Man's Sky history. If you want to see more content like this in the future, please hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave a comment down below as well. I would love to hear from you. Are you playing with your friends? How has the multiplayer been? Are you even playing No Man's Sky, or are you just checking out what's going on? I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one.